Good day, everyone. This is Ma'am Sam, and welcome to English for Academic and Professional Purposes. For our first lesson, we will talk about the academic text structure. Before we start, let us first know the objective for today's discussion. So, at the end of this lesson, we should be able to define academic text and its structures. So, what is an academic text? Academic text is defined as critical, objective, specialized text written by experts or professionals in a given field using a formal language. This means that academic texts are based on facts with solid basis. So, in other words, academic text or academic writing communicates ideas, information, and research to the wider academic community. Academic writing, therefore, is first, it is formal. It is formal by avoiding casual or conversational language, such as contractions or informal vocabulary. Next, academic writing is objective. It is impersonal and objective by avoiding direct reference to people or feelings, and instead emphasizing objects, facts, and ideas. And lastly, academic writing is technical. It is technical by using vocabulary specific to the discipline. To be a good academic writer, you will need to learn the specific styles and structures for your discipline, as well as for each individual writing task. So here are some examples of academic writing. First, we have the literary analysis. A literary analysis essay examines, evaluates, and makes an argument about a literary work. As its name suggests, a literary analysis essay goes beyond mere summarization. So, in writing a literary analysis, it requires careful, close reading of one or multiple texts and often focuses on specific characteristics, theme, or motive. Next, we have the research paper. A research paper uses outside information to support a thesis or make an argument. Research papers are written in all disciplines and may be evaluative, analytical, or critical in nature. Common research sources include data, primary sources, and secondary sources. So, writing a research paper involves synthesizing external information with your own ideas. Next, we have dissertation. A dissertation or thesis is a document submitted at the conclusion of a PhD program. A dissertation is a book-length summarization of the doctoral candidate's research. And now, let's talk about the academic text structure. So, structure is an important feature of academic writing. A well-structured text enables the reader to follow the argument and navigate the text. In academic writing, a clear structure and a logical flow are imperative to a cohesive text. In order for the readers to easily follow the main ideas and arguments, the academic text should have a clear structure. There are two common structures of academic text. First, we have the three-part essay structure and the IMRAD structure. Let us first discuss the three-part essay structure. The three-part essay structure is a basic structure that consists of introduction, body, and conclusion. The introduction and the conclusion should be shorter than the body of the text. For shorter essays, one or two paragraphs for each of these sections can be appropriate. For longer texts or theses, they may be several pages long. And now let's talk about the three basic structures. First, we have the introduction. Its purpose is to clearly tell the reader the topic, purpose, and structure of the paper. As a rough guide, an introduction might be between 10 and 20% of the length of the whole paper and has three main parts. First, we have the most general information such as background and/or definitions. Next, the core of the introduction where you show the overall topic, purpose, your point of view, hypothesis, and/or research questions depending on what kind of paper it is. And lastly, the most specific information describing the scope and structure of your paper. So in writing your introduction, You should know both your overall point of view and the whole structure of your paper. You should then revise the introduction when you have completed the main body. So next we have the body. It develops the question, what is the topic about? It may elaborate directly on the topic sentence by giving definitions, classifications, explanations, contrasts, examples, and evidence. The body is considered as the heart of the essay because it expounds the specific ideas for the readers to have a better understanding of the topic. It is usually the largest part of the essay. And lastly, we have the conclusion. The conclusion is closely related to the introduction and is often described as its mirror image. This means that if the introduction begins with general information and ends with the specific information, the conclusion moves in the opposite direction. The conclusion usually begins by briefly summarizing the main scope or structure of the paper, confirms the topic that was given in the introduction, ends with a more general statement about how this topic relates to its context. Conclusions is also used to form an evaluation about the importance of the topic, for implications for future researches, or for recommendations about a theory or practice. Now, let's proceed to the IMRAD structure. IMRAD stands for Introduction, Methods, Results, and Discussion. So, the IMRAD structure. Again, the sections of the IMRAD structure are Introduction, Methods, Results, and Discussion. The introduction usually depicts the background of the topic and the central focus of the study. The methodology lets your readers know your data collection methods, research instrument employed, sample size, and so on. Results and Discussion states the brief summary of the key findings or the results of the study. Let's go back to the introduction. The introduction is used to show that you are knowledgeable about your field of study and existing research. The introduction should explain what we know and what we are certain about. It should explain and summarize, but it should also ask questions, clarifications, compare, etc. Everything you write here must relate to your research questions. Next, the method. Method is used to show that you arrived at your results by applying valid and reliable methods. Explain what you did, your research, treatment, or professional interventions, and how you did it. So in short, your method chapter shows how you arrived at your results. Next is the results. A relatively large part of your paper thesis should be devoted to your results, your findings, your data, your empirical evidences, etc. Your results is equals to the essence of your paper. And lastly, the discussion. Of course, in this chapter, you will be discussing the results of your study project. So that's it. But before we officially end our discussion, let us first have a summary of what we have learned today. So again, what is academic writing? Academic writing is defined as critical, objective, specialized text written by experts or professionals in a given field using formal language. So we have two common structures in academic writing. We have the three-part essay structure and the IMRAD structure. So the three-part essay structure is a basic structure that consists only of introduction, body, and conclusion, while the IMRAD structure stands for Introduction, Methods, Results, and Discussion. Also, a reminder that the activities for this lesson are already indicated in your modules. Upon answering, please follow your weekly home learning plan. Remember to write your name, section, the subject, and the activity number. So that's it. I hope you had fun and learned something from today's discussion. Thank you and see you in our next lesson.